Hello and welcome everyone to the Realtor Roast, the talk show where we roast real estate myths and brew up smart strategies. I'm your host Ethan, and today I am joined by...
Hi, my name is Derek.
And...
My name is Arthur.
And we are all realtors, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Correct.
So today we want to get an episode that talks to our sellers. We've had a lot of episodes talking to our buyers before, talking about different, what the market is like for buyers. And you made a small cameo in those ones too. But we wanted to talk about what can you do as a seller now, right? We have a lot of people nowadays who, we still have so much limited inventory, and we're trying to explain, different pros and cons out of selling, different ways that you can use it to grow your worth, your net worth, increase your finances, and also just, upscale if you needed to, or even look into investing, right? So, yeah, I mean, if one of you guys want to kick us off, what do you have to say about anything?
Yeah, so today I was just talking with Arthur, and he was telling us about the tax exemptions, which was something that was completely new to me as well, so I'm basically in the same boat. But I have as much questions as you guys do. But
Yeah, so today basically what we're talking about is property tax savings. As you may know, I've come to be a little bit of an expert on that front, just having had some experience working in government over the past decade. But yeah, specifically the exemption we're going to be talking about today is transfer of property tax base to replacement property if you're age 55 and older, right? So back in November of 2020, California voters approved Proposition 19, which, among other things, allows persons of 55 and over to claim this tax exemption. So basically, let's just say you're a homeowner, you're age 55 or older, and the example I'm going to bring up is in my hometown of Walnut, California, because we obviously all live in California. Let's just say back in the mid 80s, when you bought the property, you purchased it in the 200K range, right? But now in 2024, so your assessed value is typically based on the sales price at the time of transaction. And then your property taxes are approximately 1.3% of that if you're living in LA County. So everyone knows how to do simple math, right? So let's just say nowadays, that exact same property in Walnut is worth, 1 million, 1.2 million, right? Same neighborhood. And then this particular individual homeowner is looking to perhaps downsize and move to Oceanside, popular retirement community in Southern California. Mm-hmm. And let's just say this is a slightly newer build. It's worth maybe 1.5 million, right? Yeah. Right. So then, this property now is worth $1 million in Walnut, right? So then when you do, if you purchase this property to replace the original property, we would just be looking at the difference in value.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this only affects people that are 55 and older, right?
55 and older at the time of sale of the original property.
At the time of sale for the original.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you only get up to 2 years to obtain to purchase the replacement property. Up to 2 years.
So, okay, can I ask this? Because I have a situation where one of my clients is actually, they bought the home first and then they're about to sell this property, like their original property. Let's say if they're over 55, does that mean that even if they sell that property after they've bought the other property, does that tax exemption still apply?
In that case, that might make it a little bit more complicated, but I would just defer to the local counties where these properties are located, see if you guys can work something out.
Okay.
Yeah, so typically you want to reach out to the assessor's office, whether it's Los Angeles County or Orange County, San Bernardino, Riverside, what have you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this situation, you have to reach out to those assessor's office in order to claim it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of these forms, it's based on the State of California Board of Equalization. That's the government entity that creates these rules based on, kind of what voters want, right? These forms are available online for anyone to look at, to utilize, but, to be able to point you guys in the right direction, you'll want to employ the assistance of maybe your realtor, someone like myself, Ethan, or Derek over here, or, you guys can also reach out to the assessor's office. They'll have staff there ready and knowledgeable about how to help you fill out this form.
Mm-hmm. Have you been doing this type of strategy towards your clients right now?
Currently, I do advise them of this strategy.
Yeah.
So with some of my older clients, I definitely do bring up in conversation a lot. It's something of value because a lot of times when you retire, you're tired of staying in the same place as you have been for 30 years, because your mortgages are maybe 30-year longs, fixed mortgages. And you want to, the kids are grown up, they went and did college, university, all that good stuff. They're on their own now in another city. You want to downsize, you want to move to closer to the beach, or you potentially want to move out of state. Everyone's situated. Yeah, for a little bit peace of mind, a change of scenery, different weather, maybe you want a little bit more seasonality.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So this only applies if you downsize, correct?
No. So let's go back to that original example of the property that's estimated to be worth $1 million in Walnut.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that your tax base over time does include inflationary increases annually. This is not to scare our viewership, right? Because typically it's no more than 2% per year. So it could be 1 point something percent, or it could be just your normal 2% per year increases. But over time, what that can look like in this example, something that was purchased for $200K back in the mid 80s, it could be maybe worth 300, 400, not worth. The tax base would be trended up to 300,000 or 400,000 range, versus what it's actually worth, $1 million in this case, right, in that same neighborhood. So let's just say that property in Oceanside that they've identified that they want to move to is worth 1.7 million. Walnut House is worth 1 million. The difference between that is 700K, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but we're doing this all in the name of saving taxes. Mm-hmm. So in this particular instance, this tax exemption allows you to move your tax base over to the new property, provided that you obtain that property within 2 years after the sale of the original property. Stop me if I'm if I'm going too fast.
No, you're going good. You're going good.
So just to finish that thought, so you would take that trended base value at maybe 400K, you add it onto the difference of between the market value of $1 million and 1.7 million, 700. So, simple math, 700 plus 400, what is that?
1.1.
1.1.
Yeah.
So your new tax base is at 1.1 million as opposed to the 1.7 million that would be enrolled because of the sales price without this exemption being put in place.
If this is so important, how come a lot of people don't know about this? Is it lack of knowledge from agents, or is it not enough people talking about it? What do you think?
I think it's both, actually, because as agents, we're hit with a lot of things we have to deal with, right? And tax law, tax savings isn't necessarily at the forefront of our brain.
Yeah.
A lot of agents are just out there to, hey, I'm gonna sell you this house. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Time to sell, time to buy.
Yeah. But this is good stuff for us to learn, to know about, right? Just so we can pass on that wealth of knowledge on to our clients.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. So another example I want to bring up before we maybe move on to the next topic is, let's just say they want to really downsize, but they want to keep in mind their budget and how much they're paying on taxes every year. The house in Walnut is worth $1 million. Let's just say they want to downsize to somewhere else where it's maybe not brand new, maybe something in Oceanside, but slightly older, and it's worth anywhere between 700 to 1 million. So if we're taking the 1 million one, then it would be like a 1-to-1.
I see.
So the tax base would just remain the same. If you're talking about something that's below that value at 700K, it's still the same. You're gonna retain that tax base. The only time where it's different really is if there's an increase added amount in the market value.
Yeah.
Thanks, plant, for touching me.
Yeah.
No, that example is actually a little bit more realistic with what elderly people are trying to look for. I mean, ages above 55 and older, because most of the time, as you said, with kids growing up, everyone's out at the house. It's just either the husband or wife. They're just looking for a place of community, a little bit safer community. Looking for a smaller place just for them both. So
Yeah, and some people just might be sick of California. They want to go somewhere else.
That's
you know?
true. That's true.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think this kind of comes down to show like exactly what could also be fueling the low inventory,
Yeah.
situation that's happening in California. Most of the people who hold this equity in California are usually most likely above the age of 55, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of people, when I engage in conversation with them, they're scared of losing their original tax base. And usually when I provide that knowledge to them, they're just like, oh, okay, I didn't know I had additional options. Well, here you are, guys.
Yeah.
And I also want to stress to viewers once again that, look, the 1 million assessed value is not what you're paying in taxes. Your property taxes are 1.3% of your assessed value.
Yeah.
And basically at the price point that they bought it at.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, going back to, the whole inventory crisis, one of the things that I want to get out of this episode is pretty much reminding people that, it's especially people holding equity, that this isn't it, especially with such much like higher property prices in California, always constantly rising. It scares a lot of people off too. Not only just because of the tax reasons, interest rates is its own topic, but also because it's like they feel like they might not be able to sell and be able to move somewhere else.
Like they're locked in, right?
They're locked in, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say about that?
In terms of
What are some benefits that they might be able to get out of selling when it comes to California?
selling, I get this question a lot. So a lot of my sellers ask me like, when is the right time to buy, or when is the right time to sell and buy? In terms of selling, I really believe it's at any time in the market, because obviously we don't have a crystal ball to predict. We don't have a crystal ball to predict when it's gonna drop, when it's gonna go higher. We really just don't know. I mean, obviously 5-6 years ago, Irvine was at least below 1 million.
Yeah.
And now all the buyers now are like, oh my god, I wish I bought back then. I wish all the prices were all within that time frame. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. So we're adapting into a newer market, which means that we have to adapt into newer strategies into what we can get for a home now.
I will say this though, I tend to err on the side of caution, as I'm sure most people do, including potential home buyers, right? California, we've been seeing historic inventory lows. There's just not enough supply to meet up with the demand. There's people are having kids are getting older, they want to buy homes. And we still have a constant flow of people migrating from other states into California and even from other countries.
Investors too.
Investors, correct. So, people do ask me the same thing, like when's the right time to buy? I'm just like, if you have the resources to do it now, I don't see why you wouldn't. Because to constantly just place your money towards rent without having that equity buildup, seems kind of foolish to me, unless you have some other crazy lucrative thing going on. That maybe you guys got involved me on that.
Yeah.
And it's funny they say that, because I've never heard anybody that wants to buy a house in California to lose money. Like, everyone mainly comes here because of the equity growth.
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, obviously for investment, we have like one of the highest rents here as well.
Definitely.
Even higher now.
Yeah.
Even higher now
Especially
with
because
the
of
fires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we covered some of this topic actually in some of the previous episodes.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really want to crack down on is exactly like how can a seller benefit from these situations,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we talked before, fires are only going to bring up property value up more and more eventually, you know, because with increased labor, increased, you know, tariffs are coming in, you know, everything's just going to become more expensive. Buildings going to become more expensive. Contractors are going to be more expensive, especially towards like areas affected by the fires. You know, Palisades, Altadena, anywhere around that surrounding areas. Hiring a contractor of some sort or getting materials to either rebuild, remodel, super expensive.
Yeah.
You know, so in what scenario do you guys think that, you know, this is where sellers might be able to take their chance to get to kind of reap the reward?
Reap their rewards.
Yeah, in my case, I feel like because of increasing prices, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
more demand is being put into the market, especially a couple years from now when those people who lost their homes are going to get their you know, their not only their financial footings back, they're going to be like, okay, we rented for a couple of years or like 1 year.
Yeah.
It's time to buy again.
Yeah, the one reason I actually don't touch on that topic with my clients is specifically because obviously, yes, the fires are going to create more demand and the home prices are going to go up. But what happens if my clients let me know like what will happen within the next 3 years? Will it grow even higher? And should I sold then? So that's why it's just so hard to just kind of combat that or come to a resolution with that type of topic. Or what do you guys think? Because this is my personal perspective.
I mean, I think if you guys are looking to make a move and you do need to sell your property to fund that move, now I think now with given all the factors, I think maybe you start putting the work into your house to make it look nicer. Let's just say it was kind of slightly upgraded, but a few things like the bathroom is original. Maybe start working on that so you're in a better position to have these conversations with professionals like us to help you engage the market.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
And you know what? I think to answer your question, I think when, you know, your clients go like, oh, what's stopping me from selling later on, right? One thing you gotta bring it up to them is like, okay, yes, you're gonna be able to sell your property for higher. Let's say this comes back to touching base on why are they selling.
Yeah.
Are they selling because they want to buy an investment property? Are they selling because they want to move upscale, downscale, you know? And if it's to downscale, maybe that might work out for them.
Yeah.
But if it's to upscale or if it's to, let's say they want to move into a different place and you know, take half of those earnings and invest,
We haven't even started
We haven't even
touched on the topic of 1031 exchanges.
We'll get there. You know what? This is a perfect time to get there. But like, let's say you're trying to make some kind of move with that equity, right? Some kind of investment with that equity, whether it's buying another house, investing, doing both. Whatever you're gonna put your money into later on, after, is gonna cost more too.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to let them know, you know, like whatever increase you're gonna get if you wait, chances are it's going to be the same amount of increase that you're going to get over there.
For the other property.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can't guarantee that the house that you buy after that is going to be worth the same amount now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all you know and can see is now. You want to wait 3 years and see, go ahead. But that's usually what's going to happen. I don't know if you guys saw, in Altadena, they sold a lot. They sold a lot from a burned down house. You want to guess how much?
They sold a lot. What do you mean they sold
Like a
A
land
house
lot.
that burned, they sold the plot, like the property, whatever was left.
How
of
big
that
was the
property.
lot?
Not that big. I think maybe 5,000.
5,000?
3,000 to 5,000 square feet
Yeah.
lot.
The house itself was probably like, I don't know. It was probably
Wait,
smaller.
did it burn down?
It was completely gone. It's gone. Completely gone.
I'm just gonna guess 1.5 million for the lot.
500,000.
500,000.
Wow.
Okay, sorry.
You want to know how much they listed it for?
Like
400.
400.
Wow.
Pretty good.
So there's competition out there for
Yeah, I mean-
this stuff.
look, because it's gonna get to a point where it's like, do these homeowners really want to spend the time and sweat into rebuilding their house, or do you want to just, I'm kind of tired of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a fire zone. Let's just move somewhere else, somewhere where there's slightly more humidity, like maybe by the ocean, right?
I think the biggest thing is also time because building a house from the ground up takes a lot of time.
Takes a lot of time. Not everyone has the time or money dedication for that.
cash.
I just look at it right here.
Okay.
That lot that was sold in Altadena, it was listed at $400,000. It's 9,000 square feet. The property before it was well over $1 million, worth well over $1 million. In quotations.
Wow.
And so they listed it for $4 million, just a lot, no cleanup, no nothing. It's just burned ash, a few posts here and there, and lot.
You said 4 million or 400,000?
400,000.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So that was $100,000 over asking price that property sold for.
Wow. Do you guys think that the land over there is going to be bought by a construction company, for say, like Toll Brothers?
I think it's definitely going to be investors. And I think there could be a chance that it's high probability it would be the luxury type of homes that are going to be rebuilt in place. Because in the current market, nationwide, it's just been more profitable for people to build slightly higher quality builds, slightly higher luxury builds.
That's true. That's true.
It's not anyone's fault. People do try to build like the low income stuff, but due to various zoning laws, just in different cities nationwide, it kind of restricts that type of activity.
Yeah, I think in Altadena we're gonna see a lot of those pop up, like multifamily residences pop up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Maybe in Palisades it might be different.
Yeah.
I feel like Palisades they might lean towards single family.
Yeah, I think they
still.
might stick towards more like residential, but
it'd definitely be interesting to see.
It will.
Yeah. Regardless, we have like 10,000 people who are displaced right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna be renting in the interim, but then in a year's time they're gonna be wanting to maybe get into another house soon. So that just adds more competition to an already competitive pool of buyers.
And it's cheaper to buy than to rebuild too.
That's true. Rebuild?
What
do you think?
What do you think?
I would.
Just depends on how much resources you have.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think
hire
for like
project managers.
Yeah.
Or
I think for the
GCs
normal
this.
people,
Oh,
or
okay.
average people, let's say your income is like steady and okay,
Yeah.
but it's not like grand.
Yeah.
Rebuilding is harder than just buying again.
Yeah.
Because then you have so much to do when it
A
comes
little more
to
stress
rebuilding.
free.
But I mean, at the same time, it depends if we're talking about Alta Loma or Pacific Palisades, right?
Yeah.
Alta Loma?
Sorry.
Altadena.
Altadena, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, is that like a nickname for Alta?
I think that's out in Rancho
Am I not an
Cucamonga.
OG?
That's a neighborhood in Rancho Cucamonga.
Am I not an SGV OG, dude? What?
Could you guys imagine the talks with like the listing agents for those listings?
Yeah, I mean,
like would you be able to negotiate it saying like a year ago there was a fire here, like what happens if it happens again?
honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of fire preventative measures being done to whatever's going to be rebuilt here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fund reallocation.
Yeah, concrete houses now, places that have different like sprinkler systems or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think they're gonna get really creative with what's gonna happen around those fire
That's true.
affected areas.
That's true. Possibly even with the building materials as well, because
That's-
typically newer ones are built with a stucco, which isn't fire resistant, or like it is, but it's not as fire resistant as the other ones.
Yeah, like
very
I think in Pacific Palisades there was like one place that was built with
With like that type of material.
no concrete.
Oh, concrete.
Yeah, and it stood
Oh,
out of everywhere
yeah.
else that was built out of like wood and
Yeah.
stucco and
It's like
everything.
old repaint and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they will get creative over the fires, but again, we kind of strayed off a little bit. Let's talk about investing since we're on that. Since we were kind of on hovering over that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, let's get a little bit more specific. How about when you're a seller? let's say you're ready to make a move, or you're ready to start getting retired, or you're looking to get retired, and you want to start investing in real estate. What do you guys think is some, I don't know, solutions, strategies, common strategies that you guys bring up with your clients in order to get them to that position?
Right. If you guys can tell, he's trying to lean us into the 1031 exchange. So
We can talk about the 1031 too. Yeah, like I actually have not looked into 1031s as much as I should be.
From my simple understanding, as if I was a buyer and if I was trying to simplify it down to a fifth grader level, 1031 exchange is for, say you bought it for the assessment value of 500,000, and for, say, it grows in value. It grows in home value for 600,000. There's a gain of value for 100,000, and if you choose to sell off the property when it is worth 600,000, you can use the gained amount from the 100,000 and go to another property and buy it as another investment without any taxes reduced, right?
Yeah.
That's the simplified version, right?
They're
That doesn't seem simple enough, I'm not going to lie.
Oh.
The government's basically telling us, look, guys, if you guys want to be smart with your money, we're here to back you up. Yeah.
So when it comes to doing a 1031, help me understand this, right? You have a property right now, you sell it, you take whatever gains you have out of it, and you use it to invest in another property.
Yes.
So you can't take any capital gains out of it?
No.
Okay, so you just have to pour everything.
It's a capital gains deferment. It's basically how savvy investors, they utilize the 1031 exchange strategy to defer capital gains and build wealth.
And this only applies to investment properties, though, no?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, so
Investment
you cannot
properties
do this
only.
with your primary resident. That for sure, I do know.
That would break our that would break our system.
That would break the system very heavily. Everyone would be trying to do a 1031.
Yeah,
So
it can only be done with like or kind properties, similar properties.
similar in value too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the IRS limits its use with vacation properties.
So what if there's a small difference between the value and properties?
Derek, can you answer that?
Oh, wait, what was the question?
Okay, let's say you do a 1031, right? You buy the next property, you put whatever gains and whatever money you got out of that sale, you put it into a different property, similar in value.
Okay.
What happens if it's not in the exact same in value? Like, let's say maybe we're $50,000 off. What
Yeah.
happens then?
If it's $50,000 off, for, say, if it was worth the one that you're selling is 600,000, the one you're buying is 550.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. In terms of the 50,000, I'm actually not too sure, to be completely honest.
Do you know?
Yeah, I'm actually not too sure about that.
Should save that for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Is it like a complicated process when that happens?
It definitely is. I think we could go through like the next episode on 1031. So you guys.
Specific 1031s.
Yeah.
Got it. So we'll have a 1031 episode. Is that like an hour-long talk?
I think it could be an hour long, 2 hours,
Yeah.
But
Okay.
investing requires a little bit foresight before you jump on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then how about when it comes down to investing? Let's say first-time investor. Someone has equity in a property, primary residence. Let's say, what would the conversation be like if they say, hey, I'm looking to invest in my property, in a property. I have equity in this house. What can I do?
They could use a HELOC, right?
Yeah.
Home equity line of credit. One of my clients right now, actually, their financial advisor recommended that they invest in an Airbnb, a short-term rental.
Yeah.
And just earlier this week, I took them to Joshua Tree to look at several short-term rental properties. That way, they're not paying extra $60K
Yeah.
on their taxes. They're putting it towards, investment that will in time grow in equity, right? And you can put that towards your retirement, your child's college funds, right? If you guys want your kids to go to college, I don't know.
I'm exactly in the same boat as you are. One of my clients took around $200,000-$300,000 out of their current home value in Arizona and then they're using it for their down payment, towards their down payment for the current home that they're buying right here.
Yeah.
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 No, there's so many different ways to invest and save money on taxes while you're doing it. You know, I just recommend, you know, if our viewers, if you guys, you know, do have some equity and you don't know what to do with it, you're kind of like, hey, I think I need to expand my portfolio of investments. You know, talk to one of us. You know, Ethan, Derek, me, we've all been in the game for some time now, and we could help point you in the right direction if, you know, your if you don't have a financial advisor, you know.
Yeah. I mean, even like with or without a financial advisor, you have so many opportunities to figure out ways to invest in real estate.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say even if you want to like make two moves at once, sell your property, buy two different properties, buy an investment property, you know, take whatever gains you get out of that, especially if your house is paid off.
Yeah, some people like to be digital nomads, right? That's
Yeah.
a common thing these days. So, you know, you're tired of working and living in SoCal, whether it's LA or OC. Your job provides you remote flexibility. So, you know, just you could rent out the house, take some equity out of it, put it into another investment, like a short-term rental, and then you could yourself live, you know, somewhere else in the United States or even in another country and just rent out a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely an option. Like when you have equity in a property, especially in California, you have so much like leeway. You have so much potential.
Dude, like the amount of money that I think most people make in California is a lot more substantial than other states, and even more so to a degree other countries. You know, we're kind of living like kings when we travel to different places. Kings and queens.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to be talking about equity, if you guys were investors, what would you guys put as your down payment as a investor for your first time home?
Minimum is supposed to be 20%, right? If you're gonna buy as an investment property right off the bat.
Yeah, I you know, as much down as you can would be ideal. You know, you could do this by yourself. If you have a person you're married to, even better. If you think you need to partner up with like-minded friends, that's doable too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes additional people building a team to be able to knock down this task, right?
I think it depends exactly what you're gonna do with the property too.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're gonna flip it, cash is always the best way, just because you'll maximize your gains that way.
Definitely.
And then on top of that, everything's gonna be so much faster.
Definitely.
You know, you don't have to wait for the loan application process. Hard money loans, you know, talk to a lender for that situation. It doesn't even have to be.
You could potentially negotiate a lower purchase price because
You're all
of how
cash.
fluid your option is.
Exactly.
Or you
So
can ask for credits as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
credits, all of that. Cash offers give you so much more leeway as an investor.
Cash is king, guys.
That's just key.
But when it comes to, let's say you don't have the cash, let's say you're going to finance, if it comes to a rental property, I would say if you have more than 20%, try to. I would say my goal is try to just at least make the monthly payments as minimal as possible so that I'll put my money in and hopefully if I'm renting it out, whatever I rent it out to or whatever I rent out for will cover my payments.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my only goal. You know, I don't want to pay that down payment and still have to pay up more. I'm paying off a mortgage at that point, and there's no point in me holding a rental property. I mean, there is,
Some
but
people,
more long term.
Some people will buy a rental property. They'll go live in it themselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, multifamily.
You'll live in the house and work on it while you're living there, and then flip it or rent it out after when you're done, and then move on to the next one. Some people do that. Like if you're really in a financial bind, but you have lofty ambitions, sometimes you just have to suck it up and do it that way.
Yeah, the long way. I know a lot of people I've seen a lot of people on social media do that. Like, not a lot, but maybe a couple of people, and they end up doing it for how long? 10 years, and then they have like 5 multifamily properties that are rating them like good, solid income every single month. Because after they move out, you have an additional source of income off of that room that you were in
It
before.
definitely takes time and dedication
A lot.
to build up that portfolio that way.
A lot, and it's that's probably like the most safest route, I would say,
Yeah.
where you don't have to pour in that much, and you don't have to worry too much about financial losses. Obviously, when it comes to rental properties, the biggest things you want to look for is like repairs. Those stuff will eat away at you.
Financial freedom is there, guys. It's just, where you're at in your own financial situation, how much work you're willing to put in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When it comes to investing, I think there's a lot of options, but all the more reasons, like, especially if, let's say, you have a family and you want to like leave something for your kids, investing in California as like, someone who already owns real estate in California would be a great way to branch off after that,
Yeah. Or you could blow it off on slots in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, like, give yourself a great way out.
Just double it. Just double it.
I'm not judging.
Double it down, I would say, again, do you guys have any other like insights on why maybe a lot of sellers are very hesitant on selling right now? Besides what we've already covered.
They're mainly worried about the interest rates that they have to go into, the new interest rates that they have to go into. I would say that's the biggest reason from my clients personally.
What do you think?
I think a lot of people have lost faith in the system and institutions, just the traditions that run this country, right? But if you look at it objectively, just looking at the cold hard numbers, I truly feel like the longer you wait, the costlier things are going to get.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you voted this past election, I don't foresee an inflation tampering down anytime soon, right?
No.
So I think if you do have the funds to do it, like, why not do it now? You can always refinance later.
Yeah.
Or any other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, there's some people who just have no motivation to sell or anything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to make some kind of move or some kind of, investment choice, that's one of the situations where we'd say now is like the most reliable time to do it, just because we have no idea what to expect later on.
I think the most important thing, really, the first step is just to reach out to someone like a realtor or your financial advisor, your CPA, what have you, just to take a look at your current finances and see what options you have. If you're just sitting there watching Yellowstone at night, just always wondering,
Sounds oddly specific. Okay, man.
All it takes is one phone call just to get the ball rolling.
At least
no one's asking you to sign this right then and there. At least you're having that conversation going.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah. I would say, as like sellers in this current market, it's really not hard to get your house sold. Your house is going to be guaranteed sold as long as it's fair market value.
Still need to have a real estate agent with some experience to.
100%, because it's all about fair market value and negotiation.
You can't have just like someone brand new trying to tell you what to do with your listing, right?
I don't mean it like that. Definitely, like if you're working with a realtor, you're guaranteed to get your house sold, because the realtors know different things to get your house sold, whether it's through negotiation, fair market value, or even just sphere of influence and the different people that we have. Like, there's always going to be options to get your house sold in California. There's like almost no scenario in where if you price it right in California, you won't find someone for it.
Yeah.
Most places.
Most.
Anywhere in California. Most places. Well, no, in California, there's always going to be some kind of demand. I feel like most places, if you price it right, it has to be priced right.
Yeah.
In order to get it. Like for what we just saw, people will literally buy scraps and ash for $500,000. And then, like, hell, I don't think it was priced right either.
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of speculation.
Yeah.
And I think maybe perhaps those type of investments are for buyers with a little bit more capital.
Yeah, especially single family residences too.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes down to single family residences, you hold so much more power just because those are probably the highest in demand of anywhere else.
Yeah,
Everyone's trying to
definitely.
look for single family.
Definitely.
You know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, townhomes, condos, maybe, you know.
I feel like a lot of brand new single family homes that are being built right now are like $1 million plus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To 2
3
million.
stories.
Yeah.
3 stories, small backyard. Yeah.
There was a tear down property in Arcadia that popped up. Okay acreage, but it was terrible, terrible, terrible. Like, the door was kicked in. It looked like a trap house in Arcadia.
It'd probably be perfect for like a rebuild opportunity, right?
That thing was listed, I think, for eight, like, or high nines,
Wow.
and it closed for 1.1. Sorry.
Oh my god.
So almost over 100, almost 150.
Maybe you should post that property listing in the description.
And outs that house. No, it's like, yeah, this house was terrible crap, absolute.
No, I mean, you never know. Someone might look at that as opportunity to build their dream oasis.
Oh, it
you know?
already sold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that gives you guys a
That thing
little
was-
insight.
That thing was gone within a week, dude.
yeah.
Like, I couldn't even get a showing at that place because the minute I called in, gone. They said, oh, we already have.
That's
have
how
offers.
high in demand California is, dude.
Yeah, especially like those high in demand areas like San Gabriel Valley, Irvine areas, you know, like even Brea and
Yeah.
that area. Like, those places go like peanuts.
Anywhere that has good school districts,
Yeah.
good food, right?
Yeah,
Streets.
good community.
Yeah.
It's hard. So that's why, you know, as a seller, it really depends what you want to do, you know. If you want to live and die in that house, fine. But if you want to make some kind of financial decision, I think we're all in consensus, you know, talk to someone, try to see what your options are, but usually waiting is not going to be in your best favor financially.
Yeah, guys, what we're really trying to do is let you guys know you do have options. You know, just pick up the phone, email, text, DM, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to get the ball rolling, see what we can do to help you.
Yeah, and all of our phone numbers and Instagrams are going to be put down below. So if anyone wants to reach out to any one of you guys or any one of us who, you know, you feel like you want to get more information from, it's all open at the very bottom.
Yeah,
I think we pretty much covered everything we needed to talk about, right, guys?
sure.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to mention when it comes to selling in California?
I actually had a client that he actually couldn't pay off the mortgage, but
Really?
his equity was reaching, oh my god, like he was almost 20% done with paying off the entire mortgage, and his whole job income actually could have, it was eating up half of like 85% of his income, and the reason he sold is because, one, I let him know, so the property was worth right around $850. And I let him know that you can actually use the remainder of what you've gained from the property and just buy a new build for at the time it was around $650. And I was like, you might as well just paying cash at that point and not worry about a mortgage. And also in the time, one of his priorities was to move his mother out from his own home. So, but yeah, there's definitely some options out there, and people definitely need the help with it. So.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to skin the cat. You know, it just depends on what everyone is looking to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, when it comes down to, you know, looking to do something like that, or especially when you're in a tight pinch like that, it's very important to try to listen to your realtor. Because only, like, your realtor will know how each individual piece should move in order to try to get you closer to that position. You know, it's not like a guaranteed it's gonna happen, you know, but at least we know a direct path in order to take, and different like solutions. Like, let's say if something like roadblock happens on the way, what are we gonna do around it in order to get you back on that path? You know, it might be on a little bit like uncomfortable, it might seem unconventional, but all of the solutions that we come up with have been tried and tested. All right, that's it.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys again for joining us in on another episode of the Realtor Roast, the talk show where we roast real estate myths and brew up smart strategies. Once again, I was joined by
Derek.
Tell them what brokerage you're from and what places you service.
I am. My name is Derek. I am a part of Real Brokerage, and the places I service would be all of the 3 counties around: LA County, Orange County, and Inland Empire.
My name is Arthur Wu. I'm with EXP of Greater Los Angeles, and I service just about anywhere in Southern California, particularly, South OC, Irvine area, Walnut Diamond Bar. I even go as far as West LA.
Yeah. And then once again, my name is Ethan, also from EXP Realty of Greater Los Angeles. Right? Yeah. And then
It's a mouthful.
it's a mouthful. It's a really big mouthful. We have so many. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I service around LA County, mainly San Gabriel Valley, towards West LA, and then also a little bit of Orange County too. Awesome. Thank you guys again for joining us. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you another
Bye.
time. Bye.